Welcome into Sport Talk with Dwat. I'm your host, Dwat. This is episode number 24. So, 24, you got Chase Elliott back in the day. You got Jeff Gordon. A lot of big names have drove that 24 car. But on this episode, we're going to talk about the Titans, college football playoff, Tennessee Vols, and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in basketball. That being said, what is going on, Casper?
Just here pretending I know what I'm doing, per usual. What about you?
Oh yeah, it's a nice Sunday evening-ish and it's a nice warm day. I'll kind of go first on the weekend. Man, Friday I had to work, but Saturday went to the gym, had some pickleball with my wife, went walking with my wife, and watched some of the NFL playoff games. I watched some of the basketball. I watched the Georgia Tech game, and I watched that Tennessee game there in the evening. Just didn't work out for the Tennessee Volunteers. What about you, Casper?
Yeah, it's been a weekend. I watched, all the playoff football that mattered, and I actually watched Carolina earlier in the week on Tuesday night, turn around and watched them again Saturday, and they also choked. And Tennessee choked, and I was like, wow, I'm really excited for basketball, let me tell you. But no, it's been a good weekend. Watched a little NFL here and there, but I really got hooked on this Netflix show called Homeland. You should go watch it. I know how much you love long drawn out TV shows, so why don't you go ahead? It's got about 5 seasons. It'll probably put you to sleep every day for a year. So if
Mm.
you want to go ahead and check that out. But no, it's been a good weekend.
That's good to hear. I got some things to show. I went shopping this afternoon for some antiques. I went a little antique shopping over there at Camp Jordan to go walk, and then went over to the East Ridge shopping area, and I got some stuff to show. Well, I'll start with the button is a West Point Army button. A little
All
vintage
right.
piece there. All right, that's a good warm up. Here we go. So I got me a University of Cincinnati postcard. It's got the old football stadium there. That's back in the day when it was a small campus.
That quarterback needs to come on down here to Tennessee since the portal's open, by the way.
All right, this is a good one. This is a pretty good one here. You got St. Louis Cardinals. Went to the Arch a few weeks back. That's the
Mm.
old stadium.
We stood in the middle of where that used to be or something, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't there something on the ground about that? Okay. It's a
Yeah,
really
that's it.
weird shape. I really don't like it. I think it's one of the ugliest stadiums I've ever seen, just to be honest.
It is. Yep, I agree with you on that. One more thing here. This is pretty neat. That's my first time buying something like this. It's a 10, so it's got
The trash
baseball,
can. All right.
it's got football, and it's got
Coca-Cola.
basketball, and it is a big Coca-Cola.
There you go.
Oh
That
shit.
must be from Atlanta. That's pretty
So
cool.
that's pretty neat. I like that. And fun fact, I got all this for $5 or less. So the a 10 was five, and the postcard was 50 cents for one of them. The other one was $1, and the button was maybe $3. So
That's a lot for a button. Dang.
yeah, it's a little high. I kind of like the button to be about $1 to $2, but
Mm.
I'll pay up to five if I have to. So that was pretty cool. We like to go over there. It's kind of starting to go downhill over there in that East Ridge area with the shopping area. They're starting to go out of business or move. They're starting to kind of move location. I guess they jacked the rent up,
Mm.
something like that. So, which I live over here in Hickson, so I don't go to that part of town a whole lot, but I will have to go over there and walk and or go over there shop a little bit.
A lot of that rent jacking up going on. A lot of restaurants closing up here in Knoxville because of that. It's pretty crazy, actually. Yeah. It's a tough world. Dog eat dog. It's time for us to start raising rent on the podcast. If you want to listen next week, it's going to cost you $1 a pop. So if you can go ahead and insert that in the machine, I'll take my 25% cut. Thank you.
This is a pay to watch show.
Yes, yes. Patreon, here we come, and not for feet pics either.
All right, I got a little bit of news of the week. Georgia Tech has hired former quarterback George Gotsey, who is now the tight end coach at the Ravens. I have to talk to Dad about this here in a little bit about the hire, get his thoughts on it. I like it when these teams hire a coordinator and then the coordinator will bring his quarterback. So I'm not sure on the age of Gotsey. Hopefully he's get out there and get these players in. And just kind of right quick on this whole Tech trying to hire a coordinator. I feel like I wish I would have seen the hire been announced right after the bowl game. Don't wait till they open the portal, then go then get a head coach or get a coach for coordinator. So I feel like they're a little slow on that. Um, but as I guess it's just maybe they already knew they should announce it. But with all these people these days, it's going to get out. So just make the announcement. And I'd be curious. I mean, he played way back in the day, 1998 to 2001. Georgia Tech. It's kind of cool to get these guys to come back and be a coach, but I hope that was the best option. I know they were hiring or trying to hire a few different names. So for me, we'll see how that goes. Now on the defensive side, there was some rumors that we were going to lose our coordinator on the defensive side. He was going to Texas to be like an assistant under Muschamp, who is just going to he's going to Texas. So I'm curious if that's true or not. There was a lot of that. I checked my phone a couple nights ago, last night maybe even, and there was a lot of rumors. So I'm curious. I'm ready to hear some official news with that. But I guess with that being said, we're gonna move on to the college football playoffs.
I got a couple important
Okay, go
news
ahead.
items. First of all, Myles Garrett breaks the sack record today. Big time news. 23 sacks in a year. That's pretty impressive. Never got Aaron Rodgers though. That really sucks. I hate that for him. Poor guy. But curious to see what happens with him. How long is he going to sit around there and lose for his career? Being that kind of good. Um, but yeah, that was the only other thing I wanted to add. I thought that was very important and we needed to acknowledge on the podcast. As the
Okay.
NFL wraps up this week and the Raiders locked up the number one pick. So we'll see who they go for. Who you think you got it real quick? Who you think it's going to be?
For the first pick.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I don't even know
I
who's
couldn't
worth
give you.
taking.
I'd say hopefully hope it's a quarterback. I'm not sure what their depth is at quarterback for the Raiders, but as a fan, I like to see him. I like to see these drafts be a quarterback or a running back. I feel like I like to see the names of these top guys that are can pass or run.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mendoza is probably
Oh,
the one that everybody's talking about,
yeah.
and
Okay.
so we'll see what happens there. But I guess we'll see what happens. But I'll go with Mendoza for my way too early number one overall NFL draft pick. Okay, even though I think he's kind of a joke.
I like that though. All right. First off, before we jump into this upcoming game, let's talk about last week's games a little bit, Casper. Let's kind of hear your thoughts on Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah. Well, let's just go ahead and get this. Let's do this from the order they played these
Okay,
games in,
go
so
ahead.
I can explain to you my ire. So Friday night we roll in there. Miami beats Ohio State. I had told my dad on Monday that game was like plus 600 Miami money line, and I was like, I should bet like $5,000 on this game. Like I am that sure, and I didn't. I'm really sad I didn't. But yeah, they came in there skunked Ohio State. Didn't surprise me, surprised everybody else. And then wake up. What happens? Oregon beats Texas Tech because Texas Tech is in a fake conference. The Big 12 is about as fake as ACC. Sorry. It is what it is. So they absolutely got smacked by Oregon. And I'm like, okay, 2 for 2. I'm absolutely rolling. I'm like, all right, now we're going to the Rose Bowl here. I had Alabama to just absolutely beat the crap out of Indiana was my pick. I probably made it on this show. That did not work out. Alabama does not get a touchdown. Woo, I would hate to be Caitlin Booer right about now. Indiana absolutely knocks the snot out of Alabama 38-3. I don't think Alabama made one good play in that entire game. I don't know if that was your
It,
thoughts as well,
yeah, I
but
mean, I watched it and it was just dull. Alabama just didn't show up, and they can try to blame it on the quarterback getting knocked out, or they can try to put blame somewhere, but just they beat Oklahoma, and then they just laid an
fell
egg.
apart. Fell
Yeah.
apart. I will say, so I think I kind of called this on the show last time I was on here, and I said at some point they're going to get to a 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and they're going to run out of luck. Early in that game, it was 4th and 1, 4th and 4, whatever, on their side of the field. They went for it, missed it. Indiana gets up 2 scores, and the game's over. So I kind of called it, unfortunately, because I thought Alabama would win the game, but they did run out against Indiana, and Indiana must apparently be a for real football team. But congratulations to Indiana. They looked good. I don't know that I would say that about anybody else. I guess Oregon didn't look bad, but But yeah, I don't know. So then, you get to this Georgia Ole Miss game. We're having Christmas at the Weiss families. I'm like, we're about to leave. I'm like, yeah, Georgia will absolutely just clean this up. Surely, like, yeah, it's cute, Ole Miss. Woo! But yeah, it's gonna end though. And it just didn't, They just kept on rolling. What did you think about the end of that game though? That's what I like. They put time back on the clock. I mean, all that nonsense. They end up getting. I mean, they had a chance. They had one shot. Like, what the crap?
Yeah, it was complete nonsense with the time. Um, I just, it's one of those deals where it's all these different kind of rules are put in place, and I just thought it was crazy how they had the stages and then they brought the stages out and they had to push them back in. Coach got dumped with the Gatorade and whatnot, and then it was such a really good game, and to see it end that way, it's kind of, as a fan, it just kind of stinks to see it go like that. But
Yeah.
I'll kind of go back to their second half with how it ended for Ole Miss. The first half with not getting out of bounds and then trying to get trying to kick the field goal and whatnot. It just didn't end well that first half, and I feel like Georgia had all the momentum. And I've seen Georgia many times be able to put the games away. They had the lead, and then just Ole Miss come out and they just are playing strong and want to prove themselves to everybody out there. There's been some rumors flying that some of these coordinators are now at LSU that were able to stay. I believe there's only one is just the main guy staying now for the offensive side.
I it's kind of up for debate.
Oh,
Charlie
okay.
Weiss Jr. is still the only
Yeah.
one that went back, showed up at work like the day after, I guess. The rest of them have still kind of, from what I saw earlier, which I haven't looked since this morning at like 5 o'clock, but basically, like they were still saying that they're still coaching. So we'll see
Okay.
what
Okay.
happens. Obviously, with the portal, you're getting these players on campus trying to get your portal players locked down, what's going on there, and then the whole thing is just the calendar is an absolute joke. We'll talk about that here in a minute. I don't want to rail this conversation of at least the good football game that we had
Gotcha.
by talking about the calendar. We'll save that for the end of the college section.
So the second half, Georgia just they were kind of getting cocky there a little bit. I feel like, and just well, as a Tech fan, I'm okay with seeing them
Yeah, go ahead,
drop
say
the
it.
egg.
Say
So
it. You were all about it.
I
That's
was all
good.
about it. They're at the very end of that one, with the 1 second thing, and they would throw the ball here and throw it there. It's all fine, and they were actually doing a pretty okay job at it, keeping it backwards. They were able to catch the ball. It didn't turn into just a complete fumble mess,
Yeah.
and then he finally went down on the ground, and then after it's over, like whew, it's
Yeah.
over. Ole Miss moves on, and I thought that was one of the best college football games, not ever maybe, but in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best game of this round of the playoffs for sure, right? So, it's good to see some that are good. Um, yeah. So basically, we move on here. We got Oregon, Indiana,
Yeah.
and Ole Miss, Miami. I mean, who would have
Well,
thunk? One
yeah.
thing too, I was going to get your opinion on. How do you feel about all these teams with the buys losing?
Yes.
I
So
mean, what's your opinion on that? Indiana's the only one got the dub.
yeah, you would think you would have the advantage, but you just don't. And almost wonder if these teams that have these buys, and I'm sure the coaches try to, have these days off, kind of work out in a way that they're used to with the season, have practice certain ways. But if I just had a month off and I got to come back and play a game or come back and do a podcast after a month or so off, it's going to be tough. It's tough on your mind. It's tough on your body, probably, and you want to get in that same groove of things, and that just didn't happen for those teams. And I feel like they sat for like a month, give or take, and it really affected them. So I wonder if they would make any kind of change. You think there'll be any kind of change in the years to come? For buys.
100%. 100%. I mean, Ohio State played their conference championship game and took, what they say, 25 days. That is 3 weeks, I mean, that's insane. And then the dumb thing is they're going to turn around and play again in 7 days, just for the record. So it's not like they can't do it. They just choose not to schedule it that way. So, um, calendar sucks. Still got to work on that. But yeah, no, I mean, I think this is definitely the three upsets again. I think this will be the end of the bye, which means that you're going to add teams and everybody's going to play, I think is how I see that going, personally. So I think we'll be 16 next year. Notre Dame will essentially be locked in. Unfortunately, that's a whole other thing. But I hope they do that, and I hope they fix the calendar in general. This championship game needs to be played like tomorrow. like January 5th, not like, it needs to be played before January 10th in my mind. So back the calendar up, and make that happen. Whatever you have to do. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it punishes them. I go back to the Braves a few years ago. They got the bye, lost to the Phillies first round, and then you had all those wild card teams lose. They had to change their playoffs. The NFL, the Major League Baseball did, and like make it so it's not such a long time off on those wild card deals. And because same thing, 3 out of 4 lost. It's stupid, man. Like that's you're earning the right to suck, basically. I mean, it's just I don't know. I haven't played sports in a very, very long time. But like you
Mhm.
said, I've done these podcasts off and on. Yeah, when I go a long time without doing one, and a little rusty when I get back in it, right? So you would imagine that something as physical as football, they're going to be even more rusty, not in the groove, and your timing's off with your quarterback and your receiver. And I don't know. Maybe there's something they can do to try to scrimmage somebody. If they continue the schedule how it is, like would it be worth paying somebody to come in and play some kind of scrimmage? I don't know. Like if I was a coach, I'd be thinking about it, though. As dumb as that sounds, like I'd be thinking about it, not taking the days off. So, um, I don't know. I hate it for them, but glad to see Ohio State lose. Glad to see
Mhm.
Georgia lose. Glad to see Alabama lose. As a Tennessee fan, it was a good day. I'm not about the SEC thing, just for the record. We talked about that. We had our Christmas on New Year's. I was kind of wanting to get your opinion. Like, are you a pull for your conference guy, or are you like a if it's screw them kind of guy,
Uh, I feel like if we
or
play
does it
that
depend on the
team
team?
head to head, like we didn't play Miami this year, so if we play them head to head and they beat Tech, then I'd say I'm all for Miami. They beat us, and I want to see them succeed. But the only thing I keep a thought on is about the money. So if they keep winning to advance, then the conference is getting some of this kickback.
Yeah,
So that's the only perk. But other than that, I don't watch these games upstairs and be like, oh, it's this conference, and I hope they win just because of that. I just try to stick with the teams that I like and I care for. And I almost like these teams that don't make it as far always, like different name teams, like Indiana for this is a good example. You ain't heard that name in a long, long time. So to see them be in there in Miami, which they've been around a little bit here and there, yes, but to make it far and to get in there as a 10 seed, and I'm
yeah.
glad
Last
at
team
this
in,
point.
basically.
Yeah, so I'm glad they were able to get in there, and they're really proving themselves. And Carson Beck's really showing out. I wasn't so sure about him this season. Even I probably had some things to say about him early in the year when they lost a couple of
Yeah,
games. But no, it'd been cool to see Carson Beck, play Georgia. That would have been because he transferred
yeah.
from Georgia. That would
That
have
way
been
he
a
could tell the
cool.
defense the entire offense, and they could beat him by 50. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. It would have been cool.
that would have been pretty unique, but it didn't work out that way. But that being said, Fiesta Bowl on Thursday night coming up. Will be Miami versus Ole Miss out there in Arizona. That's on seven. That's at 7:30 on ESPN. So man, you got the 10 seed versus the 6 seed. Uh, Ole Miss is a team that I'm definitely keeping an eye on. They are able to get these games finished, and they've got the strong fan base, and they seem to travel well these games. And I can only imagine, like, fan base wise, you got, for Georgia versus the Ole Miss game and all the, you got the preppy Ole Miss fans and you got the Georgia fans, and I wonder how that was out in the tailgate
I
out
don't
there.
think there was many Georgia fans there from what I saw. Everything I saw basically sound. I mean, I think Kirby even said it was essentially
Wow.
an Ole Miss home game.
Oh,
But
okay.
Georgia wasn't planning on going to that game. They got to save their money. Going to all
Okay.
these games is expensive. I
So
mean,
this leads me into a question for you,
yeah.
Casper. So these fans for like Oregon, for example, they go from Oregon down to Miami, they fly back to Oregon, now they fly back to Atlanta. So as a fan, how do they afford all this?
They're not me and you, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, I've said for a long time, I think these playoffs should be played as home games, and your home fans should be able to buy a ticket for the same price they buy a ticket to any other regular home game and not have to travel. Um, yeah, I don't know. You can't do it. I mean, that's why there were so many Tennessee fans at Ohio State game last year, is because Ohio State's like, well, we're going to the Rose Bowl, so let's sell our tickets. These Tennessee fans that are rabid idiots know they're going to get beat, so we'll sell them the tickets, and then I'll pay for our trip. So I don't know. I mean, it's it's tough. It definitely got to be hard. I mean, I can't afford it. Dang sure.
Yeah.
And it does. I do feel like at some point the expense alone is gonna make it kind of like the Super Bowl. Only the elites can really go, and it's just it does take some out of the game by these games not being at home. College has such a big advantage being home games. So I really like to see these things be home games until the actual championship game, kind of like the Super Bowl. But it's just my opinion.
Yeah, I
Nobody
like it.
cares.
Yeah, that's a good thought. So for Ole Miss, do you think that they kind of can keep things going with the offensive wise, and can they keep tossing the ball deep?
Um, yeah. I mean, yes, they can, or Miami could beat them. Looking through these four teams today, getting ready for the show, like I don't think any of these teams can't do it really,
Yeah.
and that's kind of strange. I don't know that I felt like that in years past. I think part of me wants to say Indiana's the favorite because they drubbed Alabama, but then again, also Alabama looked so bad for so many games this year and then pulled it out. They just didn't pull it out this time, so I don't know. So I really feel like any of these teams can win this thing at this point. So looking forward to watching some good football. About you?
Yeah, that's I will have to kind of see how that all goes. You got Ole Miss is going to be tough, but the Miami's they're a scrappy team, and that I'm not sure. If that game will be the best, or if the Indiana game will be a little bit better. But I feel like if I had just had to take a guess on just game wise, which one was going to be more competitive, I'd probably say Indiana. I think that game could be come down to the wire there, as long as Oregon come out and put up the points like they did this past weekend, and then Indiana, they took it to Alabama. So it's hard to
Yeah.
say which one be the best, but those two, it's all going to come down to hopefully it come down to the end. Just as a fan, I want to be able to watch these two games and be able to really be some good quality football, some good clean football, and at the end of the day, the best team wins.
Yeah, I guess like so one of the things too I was looking at is you try to look at these teams and like try to put one sentence for their year in their storyline. Oregon, been there, done that, has the money, has the talent. Okay, not surprised. Indiana, they got Kurt Signetti and they paid a bunch of players. They bought their way here. Congratulate. I'm not knocking. I'm just saying congratulations. You look at Ole Miss. Biggest drama season ever. They're literally playing because they hate Lane Kiffin. I don't care what anybody says. Even though he's getting paid when they win, that's a whole nother thing. It cracks me up. He's still getting paid when they win. It's gonna be huge. So he's still pulling for him, even though they're playing against him. He still needs them to win. It's really a weird thing, but really probably not normal for them to be here, but are during that drama season. And you have Miami, and their storyline is five-way tie for second in the ACC, and by God, somehow they're sitting here in the freaking how they're in the. I mean, they're about won the thing at this point. Like that's crazy. So we look at all four of those. I'm always looking at the storyline. So if I was rigging it, who would I want to win? And I
Yeah.
think the Ole Miss is probably the Ole Miss and Indiana are probably the top two storylines. Just because Indiana, doesn't have the history, so it'd be cool to see them win. But I don't know what do you think would be the best story?
The best story would be a 16-0 for Indiana. I think it'd be cool to see a team not lose a game all year, go out there and win and go 16-0.
That would be impressive for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I like it.
Because then you got like Ole Miss, just all kind of like you said with the whole Lane Kiffin deal. It's just a bunch of drama, and he's like you said, he's getting paid, and he's getting paid well to be at the house, so to be at LSU. So storyline like the Indiana, and then Miami, they get in, and they've proven themselves that they're good enough to beat these teams. So, they all kind of have their own story, but my top story would be Indiana, I think, and that's going to be the Peach Bowl. That's going to be on Friday night. On the 9th, you got Oregon versus Indiana. You got 5 versus 1. I have liked to be able to see these teams that are ranked higher beat the teams that are ranked lower. So that's pretty cool. It's something that we haven't seen in the last year or in the past. So to see these teams put it to the lower ranked teams, but I would like to see these teams that are ranked lower be able to host the games, kind of like you said. That's something I would like to see on the college campus. College football is all about the atmosphere and the
Yeah.
fans, and I think it's better for the fans. I think they just get this they bowl games and they host these games here and there and everywhere. It's just about the money. It is about the money, but it'd be kind of cool to see some kind of change. And I'm not sure if it will happen or if it can happen, but or at least have the home field advantage all the way through, maybe to the very end, and then maybe the have it where it's not, have it where it's at somewhere else,
For the
for the
championship game.
yeah, for the championship game.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool to see. Just it'd be cool to see some changes with how they do some things here in the next couple of years. But I think if they could really sit down and think about it, there could be some change in a good way for college football.
Yeah, I mean, I think that so like the easiest way to do this to me, and people are going, oh, nobody's gonna care. This is the easiest way to do this. Cut your go ahead and add your 4 teams. Go ahead and do that first thing. Go ahead. Make it 16. Everybody plays the whole way through. Next, cut bowl games. Just start cutting them. Just you don't need them anymore. Just start cutting them. Keep 10, 15, max 12, whatever you want to do, and make your New Year's Six bowls that they're so famous. Make them famous. Get some sponsors that treat them like the Pop Tarts Bowl and spend some money, spend some time, and have teams go play them. People are going to watch those games. They're on New Year's Day anyways. Like New Year's
Yeah.
Eve, New Year's Day, who cares? Like people's going to watch it. So make those the bowl games. Get rid of all the crappy bowls that have 5,000 people show up. Problem is,
Yeah.
those are the bowls that are actually making money. People don't understand that, but a lot of those are actually the ones that make money just because of sponsors. And then you get some people to travel and it, it is what it is. And the conferences need a TV money too. I understand that's what it's all about, but I really think these playoffs need to be home until the championship game.
Yeah.
Um, and then, just cycle a championship game through your 6 bowl game sites and be done with it. I mean, I don't know. Just take the NFLs and just do what the NFL does. I mean, is it that hard?
Yeah. I like that
Like
point. I didn't think of it that way.
that's
I like it.
that's the only way I can think to have a nut to keep your bowls relevant. The other options, which I think your dad talked about, is something about like you could make a second NIT type tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to go for you, given the state of the calendar, which we can now talk about. Because if the portal's open, who cares? Like all these guys are so worried about transferring now that like they don't care about their regular season because they're not playing for a championship or anything. So, um, I don't know, but that's what I'd like to see. But I think home. I mean, am I wrong that we're missing like half of
Yeah.
college football, which is the home field
Yeah.
advantage?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's the biggest thing for me for college football is home field advantage, and just do it like the NFL, like you just said. That was a really good point. I like that, Casper. Treat it the same way. They do it. Why can't we do it?
yeah. Not to mention just follow all the rules. Kickoffs. NFL's somehow made kickoffs interesting.
It is interesting.
Uh,
Yeah.
Extra points, field goal size, hash mark. Yeah, just play the NFL game. Actually, just go ahead and do that. Except for the NFL should take the college overtime rules. Other than that, leave it how it is. But I guess that's it.
All right. Let's talk about these guys that transfer around a little bit. I'm,
Oh,
I'm sure you got some thoughts on this, Casper. Let's hear about it. Should they move around all the time? Should they be able to just pick one spot and stay or should they be able to move all they want?
very important things that we need to go ahead and establish before I start screaming. None of this is the player's fault. I see people personally attacking players. None of this is the player's fault. If I'm a player and I'm 19 years old and this school A calls me and I'm at school B and school A calls and says, I'm going to give you $2 million and school B is giving me $1 million, I'm taking the money. I can't blame anybody for that, first of all. Not that many of these guys go pro. Let's remember that. Very, very small percentage of these guys play in the NFL and get paid a bunch of money to do that. So my thing is, if you can make a lot of money while you're in college playing football, and that is a very good way to get a jump start on your life. If I could have had 4 years playing for $200,000 and come out of school with zero debt and a couple hundred in the bank, buy a house, I mean, that's a really good way to start your life. So I can't blame any players for transferring for money. Now, the NCAA and the regulations and the transfer portal and their NIL situation and their crap butt calendar is the problem that leads us to, as fans to go, oh, this is so stupid. Okay, the problem is not it's not the players. It's the rules. And I think they got to change the transfers down to like, I think you got to stay somewhere 2 or 3 years. Um or maybe not even put a time limit on. Say you get, one transfer, and then for a grad year, you can have one after that. I'm
Yeah.
almost okay with that,
Yeah.
but I want to see some actual grades for that grad year. You know,
Yes, true.
um, what
I,
about you?
yeah, I think if they could make it a perk to graduate and stay all the years, and then I think you get one transfer, and then once you graduate, then you get another transfer. But you must have some kind of grade point average and taking some real classes and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I don't like it just as a fan. Like, so it opened up on the 2nd and it will close on the 16th. So these guys can go wherever the heck they want to go, from my understanding, and make whatever money they want to make. And like you said, it's not the players' fault. It is just the system that we're in, and it's not going to change. I feel like it's getting worse every year. And with all these players that are leaving Tech, I mean, there's been, I've been seeing them on my phone, these guys just leaving left and right. And I feel like it's okay if it's tough because are they leaving because they're not good enough? They're not getting the playing time. And if they transfer from big school to big school, then why? I like to see the guys come up from the small schools to the big schools. Then they have something to prove. And my other thing on these transfers is these teams pay these quarterbacks good money to as a backup. So Tech's quarterback Philo goes to Florida as of on the 2nd. He made $1 million ride the pine on the sideline from Georgia Tech. Now he's gonna go make $3 million
Yeah.
at Florida, and he played one game all year. So is he really worth that much money, Casper?
No, the contracts have to be written different too. That's another thing. You put these guys on a 3-year contract, and if
Mm-hmm.
they don't play the third year, they don't get all the money. I pointed this out when we were at Christmas with our family. It's like, so the contracts can hurt the players, but they can also hurt the schools. Okay, people are like, well, no player wants to sign a contract. Well, what if they suck? What if you get a Nico situation? Well, if Nico's on a 4-year contract, 2 million a year, he gets it whether he plays or not, just like an NFL contract. I mean, look at that contract that Deshaun Watson signed, or Russell Wilson, or guys that are just trash for a while there, or hurt, or whatever. They're locked into all this money. Like they've already signed the contract, they get the money. But I want to see this go to like step up contracts. You get for like your top contract, 500 first year, million second year, 2 or 3, whatever you want to do the third year. And if you come back the fourth year and finish up and you're going to graduate, give them whatever you want to do. But do a step up style. And if they leave, you don't have to try to sue them for the money, because how they're doing them right now, there's a couple schools. Arkansas is one of them that has gone after some guys for his money. And maybe Florida State. There's been a few out there I've seen, and I don't know how that's going for them. But like, if you're going to transfer, you should, you know, be owing back. There should be a buyout like there isn't any other contract, right? Like that's how it should be. You should have to pay that money back. So I think if you just do a step up kind of thing, it kind of stops that. But also, like, you know, give them a 3-year contract, give them a buyout. These guys don't need their money. They don't need this money. Think about this. You're a college football player, University of Tennessee down here. Okay, what are you going to do with $1 million? Buy a car? You
Yeah.
don't need to do that with your life right then. Honestly, like it's really bad for the player. And it's free country, you can do what you want. But I'm telling you, it is bad for a player to have the access to that kind of money. And not all of them. I know there's some good, smart guys with good advisors and good parents and all this stuff, but like most of them don't need it. I mean, you go down there by the practice field, and I'm sure it's everywhere. It's $100,000 cars plus all over. You seen the video at Ole Miss? They walk out and it's like an entire parking lot of Hellcats and demons. Like, what, you don't need that. I mean, I don't care if you want to have it. It's a free country, but like, you don't have to pay these guys. Their food's paid for, their room's paid for, their workout facilities paid for, their school's paid for.
So
What do
yeah.
they need? Nothing. A little bit of spending money. They don't need millions of dollars. I would like to see some way of like I said, graduated contracts. I want it to be put in the rules that like, okay, you're this tier player, you get this much money, and I really want. I mean, honestly, I want a salary cap. Basically, you get this amount of players, this amount of money, you get this, and this. Because right now, what we're doing is we're making teams that weren't relevant. Sorry, Indiana. Sorry, Texas Tech. Not relevant. Spent money. Now you're relevant.
Yeah.
Stupid. I mean, Texas Tech, they just bought a team. That's what happened. And then they choked, but they bought a team. That's how they got here, right? I mean, I don't like it. And, Tennessee was on the front end of this, and now they're getting crapped on because they went and signed Nico. Well, now that wasn't enough money. Now they ain't got no money. And here's the thing, these wells do run out. And so, one thing that's going to be interesting, I think, that you'll see is the areas with money will get better. Texas. If you're in Texas, you're good. If you're in Miami, you're probably going to be good. Basically anywhere that's got money, California schools, eventually they're going to get their money. They're going to get their players because they got it. But it's you have to have people giving money to these programs. But once people start doing that, they're going to get good. Look at Vanderbilt. Yeah, Vanderbilt's got some of the smartest, most intelligent people that went to school there. And guess what? When they say, "Hey, we can buy a football team now," those doctors and lawyers or whatever, they go, "Here you go. You got surgeons out here like, oh, you want $1 million this year? No problem. Here you go. Not an issue." You see what I'm saying? So, um, I don't know. I don't like where we're at. You can buy a good team right now, though. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, no. I mean, that's the way it is, and it's amazing how these teams. What's changed over the years. Is just it happened quick to see teams like seems like Vanderbilt and Texas Tech and these teams that has been mid or so suddenly the money just solves up, so, kind of gets that thing solved. And it also changes how these guys come out of high school. Is just because they might choose to go here or there, that only mean nothing. And
Yeah.
you can go play somewhere for a year and then prove yourself, and then you just go on to the next big school. So really, it's probably changed some of the high school on how they go get these guys. And it really, that's on my end. I don't think it's all that important anymore for get these guys signed out of high school because what's it? All they're gonna do is go to your school for a year and then move. Like
Yeah.
there's no advantage to having this top class. I mean, I'm sure there's
They don't
just
they
yeah,
don't
like there's
play,
not a big
and they
advantage. I
get
don't think.
bought. I mean, that's what happens. Like it's almost like you need to go get players. There was somebody, I can't remember what school it was, only had 16 players on their roster not transferring. 16. That's tough. I mean, Josh Heupel, we had a decent recruiting class, but you
Yeah.
go look, and I've seen the list this week of guys that are transferring out. Like they're not going to play. They're leaving. Go make your money, boo boo. I don't blame you. You can't. Like I said, we can't blame the players. It's not a players issue. Player issues that involve transfers, like Max Gilbert can't kick a
Yeah.
kick, and just ruin. I mean,
I was just about to
I
bring
hope
it
that
up.
I wish him so much success in life, but I have never been more glad to see one name in the transfer portal because my God, I don't get. By the way, Heupel, if you happen to listen to this, or anybody related to the University of Tennessee, when we go in the portal with that checkbook this year, kicker, number one, kicker. We got it. The kickers have to be automatic. This is now that we're paying kickers, this has to turn in the NFL. If it's less than 50, you have to make it. Period. Period. You have to make it. And if it's longer than that, we're not kicking it. We're going for it. Like that's how we should do it. I mean, stole that from somebody over the weekend, but I like that. If it's less than 50, got to make it. If it's more than that, just go for it. Period.
I mean,
If
that's
it's
a good way to
if it's
look
in the
at it.
window, if it's that 50 to 60 range, right? Like just go
Yeah,
for it. I mean,
just go
not I'm
for
not
it.
talking about going for it, on your own 20, but you know what I mean. Like that 50 to 60, you don't have to kick 60. Don't. But by God, you have got to be automatic under 50. Have to be.
I mean,
D1 football.
you're getting
God.
paid big bucks, and it's a very important position, like we saw in that Tennessee bowl game. He missed that early on field goal in the first half, and they ended up losing. So those points came back to haunt us
Or
in the bowl
Georgia,
game.
we're about to have a really good year. Missed that one.
Yeah,
Or Oklahoma. Yeah, there's a lot actually. It's a real problem. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, and that's become probably the most underrated position in college at this point, maybe
yeah.
because these offenses are so good now. I mean, you about getting range if you snap your fingers if you really want to. If you can sling if you sling three deep balls, you can probably get there. So I don't know, got to make it count.
In this day and age of football, they can move the field quite quickly. All right, we are going to shift on to NFL week number 18. Titans, oh man, they were 3-13 going in to play the Jaguars. They were 12-4 for the Jaguars, and that was a 1 o'clock on Fox. Titans lose 41-7, and the Titans end the year 3-14. Just as a Titans fan, right quick, not what we want, and I expect better for next year. We got top quarterback. I just want to see this team next year with the new coach. I'm looking forward to this coaching announcement. It's really been going on for a while now, and I've been patient, and my patience is kind of getting a little bit thin. I'm waiting for these playoff games to wrap up and whatnot. I'm assuming they're going after somebody that's going to be in playoffs right now. So I'm
Yeah.
curious for a big name and change the culture a little bit in Tennessee for the Titans. The Saints and the Falcons played. The Saints were 6-10 going into the game. Falcons were 7-9. That was at 1 o'clock on Fox. Falcons get the win 19-17 in the season 8-9, which this was actually really good for some of the clinching. The Panthers clinch the NFC South thanks to the Falcons. So it came down to the Bucks or the Panthers.
It's like the ACC of the NFL. They all suck.
So even though they got in the playoffs, they don't mean they're gonna make it very far. But
Uh-huh.
hey, you get in, you never know what's gonna happen. But
Three-way tie, baby. Three-way tie. 8-9.
nah.
Losers.
It'd been cool to see the Falcons have a better year. Um, they started off, lost the quarterback, so it's gonna be tough when you lose your quarterback. They got Cousins a couple of years back, so they already had somebody with some experience, and just didn't shake out the best for them. But moving on for them, get an okay pick and start getting these players that can make a change on the field. So be curious with how this goes with the draft coming up for these teams that didn't have the best of year. The Seahawks clinched the number one seed in the NFC. The Jaguars clinch for the first time since 2022, so they are the division champs there. NFL, Casper, you got anything on the NFL this weekend?
Cam Ward got hurt. I don't know if you caught that in the Titans
Oh,
game. He only threw three passes, went out sometime early. They ended up having to play Brandon Allen. Is that it? I think that's it. Um, Came in and so hopefully he's okay for the Titans. That's kind of a big time thing. Other than that, no, not a whole lot. Obviously we're doing this during the games here. You got the Broncos and the Chargers playing for basically nothing. Same thing with the other team. Can't
Lions
even
and
think.
Bears, 13-0 at
Lions and
halftime.
Bears, yeah. Patriots playing Miami too, so we'll see what they got. Patriots probably choked that game. It just wouldn't surprise me, but we'll see what happens, man. I looking forward to the big game tonight. I'm gonna try to watch it all, but I
Okay.
have to be at work extra early tomorrow, starting a new route. So I gotta be there at 5, like be there, and I just don't know that staying up to watch Pittsburgh and Baltimore till 11 o'clock is gonna be the move. But I might do it anyways. I'll let you know. But yeah, not a whole lot on the NFL. Just looking forward to getting into the playoffs, see what they got. I think it's dumb that college is not. They're scared of the NFL. I think it's stupid that they're playing those games Thursday, Friday.
That's
Just
why
want
they're
to put
playing
that
Thursday,
out
Friday
there.
because the NFL's
Yeah,
got Saturday, Sunday.
they're scared. Yeah, that's what it is.
So I hate that they got to change their schedule, or they're choosing to change their schedule
It's
for the NFL.
all about money. Everything in sports is about money at this point.
Yeah, how much can you get? That's what it's all about.
It's a shame.
All right, college basketball. Let's just jump on into it, Casper. UNC played on Tuesday night on the 30th. They
Yeah.
played and they got the win over FSU 79-66. So that
Yeah.
worked out really good for Tar
So
Heels.
I watched that game. This
Okay.
first game I've tuned in the whole game all year. They did what they first of all, they wore blue at home. Scared me to death. I was like, we're gonna lose this game. Apparently we've only done this 4 other times in history, wore blue at home.
Huh.
They called it the Happy Blue Year or something like that. I guess it was close to New Year's. But anyways,
Mm.
wore blue at home, got the win. They looked like a team to me. They got in the hole early. They stayed calm. They look good. Everybody on that team can score. Everybody can play defense. They don't look they're like they're a bunch of stuck up idiots. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna do good this year, baby. This is the year. Look, I was so excited after that game Tuesday. So I just want to let you know.
All right. Wednesday on New Year's Eve, Georgia Tech played at Duke. Duke is sixth overall, and Duke took care of Georgia Tech 85-79. Good to see the Tech come out and play well. I watched some of that game. Just they got to be able to kind of hang with these teams like Duke is always a good sign. Um, I've been pretty tough on the team so far. I feel like with what to expect, but I try to be positive with this basketball program, and I got some good news to share here. I'll just go ahead and say it right now. So Saturday, January 3rd, Georgia Tech played Boston College. That was at home, so that was at Tech, and Georgia Tech got the win 65-53. I wasn't sure if we were going to win any conference games, if not, maybe a few. So we got one right out of the gate. Now we're rolling on. So I'm feeling good about the season now. We got that win. Now I'm feeling proud. But Boston College had 7 wins going into the game. So I mean, for the year. So at least they're at seven's is okay. I mean, but Tech's got 10 wins now. So we got as many wins as Tennessee. So that's something proud to say there. So we get 10 more. Hey, I mean, if we get 20 on the year, that was more than I thought we were gonna get. And then January 3rd, UNC goes down to lose to SMU 97-83. What you got on that one, Casper?
I mean, they really lost it in the second half bad. I thought the first half was okay. They dug themselves a deep hole, got out of it, tied it at halftime 39-39, and then I don't know, man. They just fell apart. They just didn't. They weren't meshing, I think is what I would say. They just weren't all on the same page. Needed to move the ball, needed to drive the ball. Drive the basketball. By God, just drive. And then everything gets better behind that. But yeah, maybe SMU is better than, they're unranked, so it's a little nerve-wracking, but they are 12-2. So,
Yeah.
we'll see how their year turns out. Carolina's not done with their loss, but you know, 1-1's not how I'm trying to start the ACC tied with Georgia Tech. You know what I'm saying?
And then Saturday, January 3rd, 19th ranked Tennessee played at Arkansas, which they were ranked 18th, and Tennessee loses 86-75. That drops into 10-4 in the season. So let's talk about this game a little bit real quick, Casper. It's been good to see the team play out there in the conference game on the road. Started off strong, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they're not Tennessee's just not playing a good branded basketball at this point. Been a lot of losses that are concerning throughout the year. They're going to lose some more games. They're a little young. That's kind of what I'm hearing people say, but they just also just look frazzled. I don't know. They just don't have it really going on. They look like they don't know what they're doing, and the frustration is going to get through, as I'm afraid of. You start looking through their schedule and you see a number, you see a loss, and that's not
Mm.
where you want to be really. The three in a row early hurt, and you start looking at this SEC schedule and you're like, oh my God. So you lose to Arkansas, so Texas comes to town, which Rick
Yeah.
Barnes can't ever beat Texas, it seems like, for whatever reason. Then you go to Florida next weekend, and I mean, you're sitting here like hoping to be 2-1 in conference play. Probably not going to be that. I don't see you winning both those games, just to be honest, unless there's a good rebound, which there could be, but not looking good for them to start, really, if you ask me, to be honest with you. Not a good time to be losing games. Never
Yeah.
want to
So
start conference 0-1. Never.
right. Yeah, I didn't want to see that either. I got to watch most of that game and just didn't go our way in that. So yeah, you got Texas coming to town Tuesday, the 6th at 9 o'clock on ESPN2. Then they head then Tennessee heads to Florida January the 10th. That's on Saturday. That's at 12 o'clock on ESPN. So those are two more, man. It's just tough. It's a tough schedule. You know, just like you said, it's I guess it really doesn't matter as a fan. You just want to see your team win. So they got to be able to get out there and execute and put all the plays together to get the win. Syracuse at Georgia Tech on Tuesday. That's at 7 o'clock. That's my pick for later, so I won't say much about that game. Georgia Tech, and then they head to Miami on the 10th. That's at 12 o'clock on Saturday, ESPN2. So there's a couple games coming up I'll definitely watch for sure. And this is kind of when we start getting down to it, where can we see them be consistent? And I've seen Tech play tight there in the first half, and then in the second half we kind of fall apart a little bit. So I'll be curious if I can see my team finish these games. So anything else, Casper, on that?
Just I need to see my Tar Heels win. We got Wake, Stanford, Cal coming up here. Wake's at home, then you got the two road games at Stanford and Cal. Obviously, since that's on the West Coast, they try to pair those up. That's always tough to go to California. Carolina, for some reason, has struggled going to California and winning basketball games. I don't know. It's a long trip that you're out there, so we'll see what happens with that. But looking forward to it. See what happens. I'm gonna try to watch a little basketball. Racing's about to fire back up though, so y'all just gonna have to forgive me.
Yeah, won't be long on that. All right, let's just go into the picks of this past week Illinois versus Tennessee in the bowl game. I picked Illinois, so I got that one right. Iowa Vandy. Iowa, they proved me wrong. And they went out there and dominated Vanderbilt, got the win. And then Ole Miss Georgia, I had Georgia winning by 7 or more. That didn't seem to happen. So that was my picks on my end. I got one right, and it's going to come down to the night game for Casper. If he can get that one right, so he's got the Ravens to win by 4 or more at Pittsburgh Steelers. So we're going to see how that goes. Casper had Alabama win them, going to keep it close, and that did not happen. So that was incorrect. And then he had the Vols. He had the Vols to win by 3 or more in the Music City Bowl, and well, that didn't seem to happen either.
Nope, nope, nope.
So we'll have to see if we tie. We'll make some kind of pick or something like that. Because this show, we don't have ties on this show.
We're gonna have to make a tiebreaker right now and put
Oh,
in
okay,
the
here we
notes
go.
as
All
we
right.
go. All right, here's your
All right.
tiebreaker. We're gonna start doing this every time. We're gonna pick
Okay.
a score. We're gonna pick a game. We're gonna pick a score. So tiebreaker today is gonna be the overall score for that game tonight, since that hasn't started yet. That's pretty much
Okay.
our only option. So pick your total score, and then the closest. We'll pick a number closest to that wins.
All right. I'll go with I'm gonna go with 49.
49. I'm gonna take 35
Okay.
for that. So and then that'll work. And then you can just pick whatever game you want it to be for next week or whatever. It doesn't
Okay.
have to be anything that's even our picks. I would just pick whatever like one of the bigger games is or something. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So we are going to move on to picks of the weekend. I want to give me Ole Miss and Miami. I'm going to say Ole Miss is going to keep it close or win. So the spread's 3.5 for Miami, but I'm going to go Ole Miss to keep it close, if not win that game. And then I want to do an NBA pick here for all the NBA watchers and listeners. I'm going to go with the Bucks to cover. So the spread's 6.5. I'm going to say it's at the Kings. That is tonight, I believe. So give me the Bucks to cover the spread on that one. And then Syracuse at Georgia Tech. I'm going to take the money line on these college basketball conference games. And I'm going to say give me Syracuse to come into Atlanta and take care of the Yellow Jackets. All right, guys.
I was going through the picks. I think it's really funny that we both like picked a college basketball pick for our
Oh,
third pick, and we both picked our teams to lose. I
oh,
just think that's hilarious. I want to read mine from 3-1, I guess. I picked
okay.
Texas money line over Tennessee. So yeah, congratulations on that. I got Indiana -4 against Oregon. I think they'll cover that no problem. I just think I think Kirk Cignetti, if they don't, might just blow the whole place up. So I really like what I see out of him as a coach. He might be the next Nick Saban. Everybody watch out. And he might not leave Indiana. Doesn't sound like he wants to. If they got the money, why would he? And then give me Miami -3 over Ole Miss. I think it's insane that Miami is the favorite as the 10 seed over the 6 seed. I think that's a little bit silly, and it should just kind of go to show you that what are we doing with these brackets, kind of. It's just kind of goofy, really, to me. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Miami's look good, Carson Beck's look good, and I think they'll knock them off. I don't know that's what I want to happen, but that's just what I see happening. So,
All right. Well, with that being said, we're
hold
going to
on.
shut it down. Okay, go ahead.
We
What you
got to
got?
do this tiebreaker pick.
Oh,
Pick a game. You want to make it that probably a college playoff game, I would
okay.
think. So we'll just go pick one of them, and then we'll just pick a total score. I don't know which
Okay.
one.
Let's do the Indiana game. And I'll start with that one. Total score. I'm gonna go 35.
Yeah, I'm gonna go like 53.
Okay.
All right, now I'm done.
Okay. All right. With that being said, we're gonna shut it down. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe on the YouTube if you would, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, Spotify. I'm getting some clips out there, so I've been doing that on
Those look
each
good.
show.
Those look good.
Okay.
The
Oh, thank
family
you.
noticed them, so congratulations. You're
Okay.
doing
Yes, I've
something
been
right.
going in there and clipping some key parts of the show. So thanks for watching, everybody. And with that being said, we will say see you in the next one.